وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأقسموا بالله جهد أيمانهم لئن أمرتهم ليخرجن قل لا تقسموا طاعة معروفة إن الله خبير بما تعملون قل أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن تولوا فإنما عليه ما حمل وعليكم ما حملتم وإن تطيعوه تهتدوا وما على الرسول إلا البلاغ المبين صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقسموا بالله جهد أيمانهم لئن أمرتهم ليخرجن. The hypocrites, the munafiqeen, they swear by Allah, they take the qasam and forceful oaths. Jahda aymanihim. لَإِنْ أَمَرْتَهُمْ لَيَخْرُجُونَ. They take forceful oaths that if the Prophet ﷺ, if you command them, لَيَخْرُجُونَ, they will leave. They will certainly leave their homes and everything behind for jihad. So they come to the Prophet ﷺ when it is not time for war. They would come and they would say that you tell us to leave our houses and you'll see us leaving our houses and we'll leave everything behind, our families, our houses, our crops, everything we'll leave behind. We swear by Allah that we'll do it if you tell us to do so. قُلْ لَا تُقْسِمُوا. Tell them, do not take these oaths. You don't need your verbal commitments. We don't need your false oaths. طَاعَةٌ مَعْرُوفَةٌ. Obedience is what is required. Obedience is what is known. That which we can, that is ma'rufa. That is what is the better thing to do. That is what is the more credible thing to do. Inna Allah khabirun bima ta'malun, and Allah is fully aware of what you do. So don't try to fool anybody with your hollow words. Obedience is the criterion against which you will be judged, and forever. The love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, faith over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it will not be judged by words and by poetry and any of those things. Ta'atu ma'rufa, how much you obey is what is going to be seen. قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. Tell them, obey Allah and obey Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا. If they turn away, if they show their back, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْهِ مَا حُمِّلَ وَعَلَيْكُمْ مَا حُمِّلْتُمْ. Then the burden of what they do, what they bear or what they carry is over them, and the burden of what you are burdened with is upon you. So upon the Prophet ﷺ, the responsibility is that he has to deliver the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without fear of opposition, and he has to not be dishonest about it. The Prophet ﷺ fulfilled his responsibility as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran itself. The burden upon people is that they obey, they listen, they submit, and if they do not, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold them responsible. وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. So therefore, the job of the Prophet ﷺ is not to forcefully make people obey, but it is to deliver the message and establish the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who choose to not obey, not listen and turn away, then their affair is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the ruling with the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, that they lived among the Muslims, but the reality of what was in their hearts was known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has said that the hypocrites will be in the deepest pit of fire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. A further benefit is that if you obey the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, tahtadu, you will be rightly guided. So sunnah is the only thing that has hidayah in it, that makes us on the guided, rightly guided path. Anything else is all going astray. Herein, Hakim Ulummat Muhammad Thani Rahmatullahi has written that hidayah opens up upon those people who obey the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we obey the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, within us, the things of hidayah, they become stronger. We find ways of hidayah. Hidayah becomes easy, and within us we have that natural tendency to be guided and to follow the rightly guided path. وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. Obey the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you will be rightly guided. وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ, and upon the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam there is no responsibility except balagul mubin, which is to clearly deliver the message, convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who listen to, who ponder over, and who obey the message of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and become obedient and good slaves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ja'alna min ahli al-Qur'an alladhina hum ahluka wa khassatuk, wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqih sayyidina wa walana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amin bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.